Okay, what's the last thing you remember?
God, I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
Never had anything like this before.
You're fine.
I honestly, I'm just worried about my wife, Megan. Was I riding with her?
No, you were not. You were
Oh,
alone.
thank God.
No.
Can I step over here?
So my wife isn't here?
Just standing in the shade.
How does your head feel?
Head feels fine.
Head feels okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, in general, my body feels fine.
I see you got some blood on your right eye. Do you feel like you can open your eye and see out of
Yeah, I
that?
can see
Okay.
it.
All right.
I feel like my mouth might have been hit.
Your mouth? Yeah.
Like the nose, no?
Yeah, you may have bit your lip or something.
God, this
So-
is so weird.
I'm going to have you stay just like
I'm
this.
so sorry. I've just never... I'm coming to now. I'm starting to get more alert and
Okay.
can answer questions.
Okay, we got medical coming. They're going to
So,
take a
okay,
look
just-
at you.
Can you clarify for me that my wife's okay?
Yep, she's not here. She's not
here,
involved.
but
Okay.
she should be fine.
Okay, that's all I care about.
It's going to be a different episode because we're telling a story that is one of those that I think we all have in our lives where there's some moment or some unexpected thing happens where everything changes. And for me, that was 1 year ago today, April 4th, 2024, when I was hit by a car while biking. And life's never a neat narrative of like, oh, this thing happened and then I overcame adversity and now things are great. It's more complicated than that. So this is that complicated story. You're amazing.
The joggy jog.
You're half stepping me?
Keep up, you bitch.
Hey, Megan, this is a day of
Day of reflection
remembrance.
and solitude.
So, okay, what we're going to be doing is running from here to the accident site.
Actually, you're going to be running from here to the accident site. I'm going to meet you halfway because still coming back postpartum.
You're crushing it.
And you should throw in some surges when we run together.
I will. I'll
Yeah,
throw in some.
that'd be great.
But we're going to be running there on the year anniversary of the crash. And most importantly,
Get you rock.
we're going to be delivering a heart rock. So if you remember in, what episode is that? 5? Something like that. We found a heart rock in the mountains. I actually forgot it. So as a family, we went and hiked to find it. So here's the heart rock we're going to be delivering to the accident site. Because like when cyclists die, there you see the white bikes. And
There's actually a white bike across from your accident site.
yeah, there's a lot of white bikes in Boulder, and it's
Yeah.
incredibly sad, and a really important issue. And what happens when things are short of that? So we wanted to leave a little remembrance, and so it says, "Still keep singing," and that's off of Florence and the Machine's song "Free." So the lyrics of that are, "Is this how it is? Is this how it's always been? To exist in the face of suffering and death, and somehow still keep singing."
Oh, hell yeah. You
So,
did it.
Perhaps.
It's beautiful, too.
We'll have
Also,
to-
Leo made this rock.
Yeah.
Which is his version of a heart rock, and I think it says, still keep eating french fries. If you could
Okay,
write.
so the big thing here is like,
You're going to carry that all the way? I mean,
I'm
Cody
gonna
could just take it.
I'm going to carry it all the way. Yeah, I know Cody could take it, but
It's like wearing a
That's
little
not
ankle
for
weight with you.
and
This
then-
one still has paint on it.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
So
still
Leo's
wet.
rock.
Yeah. In fact, now I have paint on me.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll talk a lot, and I'm sure you've already heard a lot about the accident and everything. Like, I also don't want to overstate it, right? Like, I'm fine. But
No, but I mean,
it did change our lives. And
also the post-concussion stuff is very real.
Yeah.
And I mean, you had depression after the accident for a couple months, honestly, until Leadville. So,
I don't even know if my brain's been the same
Yeah.
fully since, at
Yeah.
least at baseline.
well, for the better. Yeah.
Better.
I mean, how do you do what you do?
Okay.
You know, I think one, you process pain differently, and two, I think you think about the world differently, and that's really beautiful. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think you would have won Leadville or Javelina or like be doing 100-mile races without the accident. So
Yeah, thank you.
because sometimes you got to fly 100 feet to run 100 miles. That's what you did.
Yeah, we're gonna demonstrate that today. Okay,
fun.
let's go do it.
Let's do it.
I'll start my run, and I'll see you in 5 miles.
Amazing. I love you. Kiss. Have a good
Okay,
run.
okay, for the camera.
Oh my lordy, Sean
Tongue?
McGordy.
Yeah. Tongue.
Woo!
Okay. Zooming back to the day, April 4th, I remember being on the bike ride. So I was going on a 50-mile bike ride to Rabbit Mountain here in Boulder and just being so joyous. And part of that joy was because it was a beautiful spring day. I felt amazing. And my fitness was in places that it had never been before. Like I was shooting at the time for the Leadville 100 miler. And I was like, you know, I'm not sure if I can do this thing, but oh my gosh, if I feel this good in April and I'm riding this well, anything's possible. So I headed on that road ride like I always would. And about halfway in, 25 miles into that ride, right around Rabbit Mountain, I actually see Megan, who was out on her gravel ride, and she hops onto my wheel for a few minutes. And it was really special to just share in the middle of this bigger ride, just a few jokes together. Much like the run we did today, just, you know, it's how our relationship formed, is getting to spend these times together out in nature, you know?
If you told me a year ago we'd be doing this today when
With
we were
a
in the
baby?
hospital. With a baby?
With a baby? How wild is that?
When we got to bike together for a few minutes, it was so special. But then went our separate ways, and I continued my ride. And at 37 miles into that 50-mile ride, I was on Nelson Road here in Boulder, famous biking road, huge shoulder, and most significantly, going back to the site, dead straight. I'm just riding perfectly straight, come over a little crest, and I'm going at the time just over 25 miles an hour, loving life, you know, just like totally on top of the world, as you can sometimes only feel in athletics. And out of my peripheral vision, I see a windshield. And I had a split second when you're going that fast to respond, and I tried to make an evasive maneuver. And my memory ends when the crunch started.
Oh my gosh, snow coming in.
It's snowing. It's beautiful.
A little bit of sleet maybe.
As I recall last year, at this time, I think we were both in shorts.
Oh yeah, no, it was a short bike ride.
It was beautiful. Actually, it was wild because it was so nice. I was like, oh, don't go down to the trainer. Ride outside.
Yeah, you told me to ride outside that day.
I actually carried a lot of weight about that comment.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yesterday you told me to ride inside and I wanted to ride
I
outside.
know. I thought about that comment.
I've been able to reconstruct a lot of what happened via the police reports and the witness reports. So there were also multiple cyclists that saw the accident. And what seemed to happen is that I swerved, trying to bail out, crashing to avoid the car. But as I was doing that, the car hit my bike on the backside. And when you're going 25 miles an hour and a car turns into you, this car was just going straight in the other direction, making a left at the intersection. Recipe for disaster. And so I went airborne. And the police report says that I traveled approximately 100 feet in the air and struck the fence. And it must have looked bad.
So a year ago, Megan was training for the Canyons 100K, going for a golden ticket to Western States, on the bike ride, on these back roads, gets the call from the paramedics.
Why did I pick up? I never pick up my phone. Actually,
You knew something was
I knew
right.
something was weird because there's so many ambulances out here.
And books it to the hospital. But my favorite part of it is she still got her 50-mile ride in.
And I did get a 50-mile ride, and my heart rate was like 170 at the end, just hammering. I was like,
I never
he said-
zoomed in though. Did you do parking lot loops?
I did not. That would have been epic and really mean.
No, I would have loved it so much. The ultimate tribute to me would be adding parking lot loops to get to 50 miles around the hospital.
One of the most sinking feelings was just hearing like, hello, this is the fire department. And that was like the first thing that they said. And after hearing like all the sirens, all the police officers and ambulances and fire trucks heading that direction, I just knew immediately that something was bad.
Stop the watch.
Look, it's beautiful. I feel like the mountains overlooking it are so pretty. Did you see the car?
Yeah, so I did not before it came into my peripheral vision.
Yeah.
And the last memory I have is just seeing the entire like windshield of the car
Oh my God.
and realizing that there was nothing I could do, trying to do an evasive maneuver
And you're going 25
And,
miles an hour on your Strava. It
like-
went from like 25 to 0.
right before like I thought I'm not going to get to see Leo grow up.
Oh.
And
Well, now you get to see Leo and Ollie grow up.
I mean, I got lucky, you know, because so I was hit and flew down near that rock over there. Yeah.
I'm like, let's stay in the grass.
Most ironic thing possible would be,
I know. Actually, I didn't want to bike today. I was like, let's only run today.
isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
Also,
Guy hits the fence 2 times in a year. And this is such a common biking road that on a beautiful day like April 4th last year, there were a ton of witnesses that saw it and were able to stop and get down immediately and call for 911. And the driver stopped too. You know, again, nothing about this is about the driver. Like I just want them to live their lives and find joy, and you know, we all make mistakes. But so yeah, I was down there. We actually came back to the site and found the blood on the fence.
What's wild though is I was riding. We rode together briefly at Rabbit Mountain out that way.
Like 10 miles that way.
I just held your wheel for 2 miles. I was on a gravel bike, you were on a road bike. And I came through here probably 3 minutes before David did and got hit by a car. And as I was riding that way, just like ambulance after ambulance. And I just had it's a really weird feeling about it. And I've actually had weird moments since, like, the other day I was riding and same ambulance is coming on 63rd, and I actually pulled over and like looked at your dot, your GPS dot, and you're back at home. And I was like, thank God.
So, oh no, I mean, it's lucky. Like, that grass, it looks like a wonderful place to fly.
I mean, there's a lot of like prickers, and actually someone left you a whole...
There's an unopened Modelo.
Hold on, grab that.
Oh my gosh.
Can we have a sip now?
Oh my gosh,
Is it
yes.
truly unopened?
Yes. What the hell?
Do you have a bottle opener, Cody? Can you do it with your bare hands? Okay, you're on camera. This is for YouTube.
Wait, what do you think I would do? What do you think I would do?
Just try it with your bare hands.
You think I'm way more masculine than I am.
I'll loosen it for you.
You married me because I'm exactly the type of person that can't open it
Do you know
with
what we
my
should
bare
do?
hands.
We should just crack it. We should just like take a swing at it against the... Do you want me to do that?
It's a tributary Modelo. We don't need to...
Oh, I'll drink beer at 10 a.m. on a...
Well, Megan, thank you so much. Like, you know, all I thought about in that ditch, and I do, like, a lot of the memories have come back over time. I don't remember anything from the ditch, but I do remember being in the ambulance and just, you know, thinking about you and, like...
Well, he called me in the ambulance,
Yeah.
and they put you on the phone, and you didn't really know what was going on, but all you said was, I love you, I love you, I love you, and then I'm so sorry.
Well, you didn't feel bad because...
But I asked, I was like, are his legs okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the first thing. I was shocked because...
They're like, he can move his toes. He should
I
be
do
good.
remember. So I was down there, and so I'm lying on the ground, and, you know, I think it was, 20 minutes I was unconscious or something like that. And when I come to, it's a bright, beautiful sunny day, and all I know is, like, I'm immobilized. They have me in, like, full body gear, and I'm looking up, and there's, like, all these angelic figures. You can just see the shadows, and it felt like I had been asleep for 4 days, and I was just dreaming of you and the adventures we've had.
Oh.
And that's why, in that ditch, I'm just constantly asking the police officers, are you okay? You know, is Megan okay?
Actually, the video and it's pretty raw. So, I mean, you can do with it what you want. But in the video, like 30 times, you're like, is my wife okay? Is my wife okay?
And they're like, yeah, we think so. Maybe. So, the rock Leo painted, we were going to put it at the accident site, but this is the same spot, so. Yeah. Bring Leo back here one day. We love you. We go 4 miles that way. Magnus White was hit and killed by a distracted driver. He was one of the best young cyclists in the United States.
18 years old.
His parents have helped launch the White Line Foundation, and a few weeks after my accident, they reached out just to talk and support, and it's really fucking tragic.
It's really tragic.
Um,
Actually, it happens a lot in Boulder.
Happens a lot everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Like, it's scary.
It's
but
scary.
keep on singing. She doesn't have trail shoes on. She's got the endorphin speeds.
Yeah, these things have like
Granted, with my ankles, you should probably hold my hand.
I think we found the blood on the fence around here, but the accident site was that's a long way to fly.
How about right here?
Hey. Still keep singing.
Megan made this for me with Leo's help.
Also, David just carried that the entire 10-mile run.
In the face of suffering and death, find a way to somehow still keep singing. Granted, it's kind of ironic that I didn't actually sing the lyrics when I'm talking about still keep singing. And still keep singing!
Boom. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay.
All right, put it to bed.
The little fence. Love you, fence.
Well, I don't know.
I think the fence.
I think I would have been much better off if the fence wasn't there.
That's true. This is actually this is a solid fence.
Yeah.
This is not like the fence at our house where you can't even lean a bike up against it. It's beautiful.
Thank you for everything.
I love you so much. You did it. Lots of adventures ahead.
All right. Yeah.
I got lucky, I mean, to fly 100 feet going that speed, hit a fence, and come away with just a head injury and some broken bones, it's just lucky as hell.
Got to the hospital and met David, and when he was there, it was actually really horrifying to walk into because he was lying in the bed. He had a neck collar on to support his neck just because they weren't sure the extent of his injuries, and there was just blood and road rash everywhere, and it was just so. I mean, it was very jarring to see him in that state. And I think the most jarring thing is I looked him in the eyes and you could just tell that he was kind of somewhere else. He knew who I was and he understood the situation and he was coming to, but there was just this look in his eyes that I will always remember as something that just felt very unsettling. I could see within his eyes that there was something serious going on within his brain. It just looked he had just gone out 2 hours earlier with such joy to be out there joyriding, and then to come back in, it was almost like something, not that something had died inside, but just something that had a flip had switched, and I could see that within his eyes.
I remember on subsequent mornings, I was unable to sleep because of pain. My brain is a shitstorm, but life moves on. You're still working, and you still got to show up and do the things you need to do when you have your own business. And I just have a dictation software. And I'm down at 3:30, 4 a.m. in the morning because, well, one, I can't sleep, but two, I'm so inefficient with my work that I need to start working that early for the next month just to stay on top of things, to keep my head above water. And I'm just screaming into the computer with this piece of shit dictation software that won't even let me write cuss words, which is really definitional to who I am. And so it just censors it all. And I'm laughing at the absurdity of the situation while also just crying about how difficult it all was, how everything that I took for granted just got so much harder. Leo didn't understand why Dad couldn't roughhouse with him, couldn't lift him up. The first couple weeks, you expect that to be rough. First month or two, you expect it to be rough. And I was able to get back to training.
Dada is tough as nails.
I'm a tough motherfucker. And I think that coming out of that ditch from that accident, it made me realize that like I could lean into that toughness and I could call on that and push myself in new ways. And, you know, I went to the neurologist and got my brain tested. And in that process, essentially did the same thing for solving this problem with Megan, who is a doctor, PhD, MD, PhD, and a neuroscience, has a neuroscience background, to read all the research and it's like, activity is generally good. I mean, yeah, you don't want to be looking at the computer like I was. That was not good. But like you generally want to try to be farther ahead at 4 weeks in terms of your return, because that will improve some of the long-term outcomes. And so I got to work. And it sucked. Like I remember running around this little neighborhood that you've seen in workout videos. And it was usually okay for 2 miles. But after that, I would get this like severe pain in my brain stem, which is not something you want to hear. You just don't think about your brain stem. And, you know, I don't know if it was smart how I worked through it necessarily. Like I cope with athletics. Like I process the world through athletics. And when it was taken away for a little bit, I was like, I want to get back to this. And I thought Leadville was off the table for good. Like I thought there was no chance that could happen, but bit by bit, I was able to build back, and that brain pain lasted for a couple months. But that started to fade too. The broken bones totally faded. My legs were fine. Thank God. Bless the bike crash gods for sparing the legs.
When he got hit by the car, honestly, his body responded in such a strange way. Like once he was able to come back to training, just in terms of heart rate response, like heart rates all over the place, mostly super high, like struggling with some of these weird nerve-related injuries. And I, in coaching David and going through this, like realistically, I think we both put Leadville on the back burner. It was like, the most important thing is to get his brain back, to help him get some of that joy back that he experienced in training, and to go about this process in a safe way. But I think it was around 8 weeks after the accident where something flipped for him physically. And it was almost like you could see glimpses of David physically starting to come back as an athlete. When we were at Western States in the Olympic trials coaching, I could see the fire in his eyes come back for Leadville.
The reason that I was on the start line of the Leadville 100 in retrospect, if that accident never happened, I don't know. I don't think I would have been the type of person that was able to do what I ended up being able to do. Because when I went into that ditch before that, I don't know if I truly understood what it was like to just kind of occupy dark spaces for a long time with no light at the end of the tunnel. It was just dark. And, I've gone through a lot in life, and I've dealt with mental health issues and I've been through a lot of shit, but there's something about occupying a space for that long that you had no control over that liberated me from all of the weight, all the bullshit, all of the expectations, all of the doubts of myself, all of the judgment of dumb fuck critics who don't know me. That when I left that ditch, I didn't realize it, but a part of me stayed there. A part of me is still in that ditch. A part of me is there with the heart rock that we put down there. And at Leadville, a day or two before the race, I wrote a post where I was reflecting on getting to go to this race with Megan and Leo, and that when I left that ditch, all of that was out of my control. And the pain I went through after that was all out of my control. But the one thing that was in my control was that when I got to the hard parts of Leadville, when I got to step into the pain cave, I got to do it from my own volition, my own choice. And I got to do it with Megan and Leo and the community I love so much and my parents. And I was like, I don't care if that happens at mile 5 or mile 95. I just want to step into that cave, turn on a fucking light, and see what's possible.
Yeah, got away, baby. That's the gear right there. Powerline climb. Making me huff and puff. This guy's unreal right now.
I think the part of me that never left the ditch had a lot of fear. And the part of me that got back out, part of me is fearless.
You're so amazing, Garrett! So get Ollie. Honestly, from a coaching perspective, did I think that shot was going in? Yeah, but did I think it was a half-court shot? Also, yes.
No matter what happens from here on out in my athletic journey, right? That's going to be the moment. It's like running with Megan, seeing that clock tick to a time that I never expected or, never really conceived fully possible.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
The most powerful human thing we can do is just express ourselves, tell stories, fail, succeed sometimes, occupy the pain cave, whatever the fucking thing is that brings you joy. And what just brings you meaning and purpose and whatever. So, yeah, year ago today, would I change it? Yeah, I'd change it. I wouldn't want to get hit by a car. But I love the person that got up from that ditch.